Yeah, it's freaking tough. Let's talk about it. Hi guys, I love stories and hope you too. Moreover, I like dark stories. Not because of enjoyment observing how other people suffering, but because of the feeling of deep disturbing empathy which those can evoke. You know that choking soreness somewhere in your gut, chest, and throat at the same time. Of course, that type of stories are rare because they require a really good written and put together piece. However, today is exactly the case. In November 2019, the Joker movie elevated an unbelievable amount of hype, making R-rated movies great again. Tightened around the idea of an outsider who never succeeds but really wants to, the movie refers to a depressing experience of hopelessness, which is familiar for most of us, feeling when all of a sudden something goes totally wrong and we can't deal with it. In addition, it drags out, continuously intensifying the problem of mental disorders. The shortest review in the history. If you're doubtful if you should see this movie, you definitely should. But keep in mind that it requires a certain amount of preparation, I guess. Just because the whole style of the movie is made not to really entertain you, but it's like good old cinema when it makes you think about it and really dive deep into the story, emphasize the characters, emphasize the whole story, digest it inside yourself, and stick the story with you for some time when it will like boil in your head. Like at least for me it was, the whole process took a few days when I was thinking about it, and the only and the best conclusion which I got from this movie, it's two, to be honest. The main joke, the whole movie is a joke, and not like in the sarcastic way, but structurally and ideologically. The other idea, how I can characterize the whole movie, two words: loneliness manifesto. Yeah, like that. Keep in mind, it's not fun and usual like engagement entertaining. It's dark, sometimes it's hard to watch, and after some period and some plot twists, it's maybe even painful mentally. At least for me, it was. However, you should definitely check it out. And now we will talk about the movie itself. So beware the spoilers. Keep in mind, I will spoiler the whole movie. So if you watched it, stay with me. Let's stick together and talk about it. If you didn't, the whole further conversation may like totally break whole your experience, and I definitely suggest you to check first the movie and then come back if you want and check my thoughts about it. So let's dive into it. Huge joke about the movie: comedy and tragedy. So the Joker movie pursues us that we are watching a story about a comedian. At least we hear it from the main character, Arthur Fleck, who ensures us that his life goal is to bring us happiness and joy in this cool and dark world. And his first joke starts with the name of the movie. It makes fun of our expectations to see the story of the Joker, the character of DC Comics, one of the most iconic villains in the industry. A prank that went out of control, and we were fooled long before we even turned on the movie itself. Because it's not about the Joker, the character which we expected to see. Of course it has like some kind of element of it, But in general, it's about the archetype, the idea, the image which stands above the definition of this character. The very first scene shows us a crying clown, and this scene in general is the whole idea of the movie and impersonification of the story itself. This is the biggest joke we wouldn't get. For the next 2 hours we will observe a violent trick braided on a devastating canvas of loneliness. Yet we will see that probably it wasn't even real. Humor itself is a very impermanent substance. From person to person it changes the perception of happening and brings different impressions. Many jokes that make someone laugh will make you cringe or even feel pain, and vice versa. Everybody experiences it in their own way. However, there are some general patterns that most of us consider, if not funny, then unusual by itself. That's the nature of humor. Set up common conditions and punchline after, with an unexpected conclusion involving its audience in the contextual background. The problem is, there is no humor in the movie at all. At least not the type of humor that refers to the general patterns everybody could get. Those jokes that we hear or see are so deliberately oblique we can recognize sarcasm, irony, and satire most straightforwardly. Therefore, to make you smirk, exhale, and compassionately smile, not laugh. Humor in this movie comes on the same discontent rails that are supposed to disturb your attention, feel discomfort. It's shown the best in the moment of Arthur's transformation into the Joker. When he writes down jokes, suddenly his posture changes, as does his leading hand from right to left. And the joke he notes sounds like, the worst part of having a mental illness is people expect you to behave as if you don't. That's not the joke. That's a lament for help which will never be heard by anyone besides Arthur himself and his alter ego, the Joker. And my point is that the Joker movie perfectly mirrors a joke. It has a setup which is shown to us, but in the end we got an unexpected twist, the punchline, and no one laughs. We didn't get it, just as he said, because we expected mentally ill person to act as if he's not. Arthur's croaking, choking laugh sounds all the time because he knows it. He knows that his life isn't a tragedy, it is a comedy. That's the best fourth wall break I've ever seen. Yeah, for sure, that's just my impression. But that's the best part of stories like that. When you spend time with them, digested it, overthought it, and generally extracted some ideas, some thoughts, you can find something for yourself. His mental state intensifies the effect many times, smashing our perception of reality into pieces. How can you even believe the storyteller with a mental disorder? Gotcha. We were hooked by absolutely irrelevant narrative, humbly following its instructions. And now we are the part of a ginormous mental blackout called the Joker movie. And here I should mention one of the most important elements of the story as a whole, the loneliness, which is written and made so profoundly well that it's like a separate character. It takes place everywhere when we observing Arthur and all other characters, their interactions. And it's like the whole another layer which wraps all around itself, making the atmosphere and the narrative such a gloomy, viscous matter that it brings us that exact feeling of choking engagement, that sore feeling in the gut and in the throat. Which amount of solitude should person experience to create the whole new world inside of their head. Well, most of us are lonely at some critical point. The lack of communication isn't an issue. The problem is the broken phone effect. No one has the same impression on any event, and we can communicate only with words which are pretty limited, though we can never deliver a complete spectrum of meanings that we actually involve in our words, connecting all the associations. Those complex structures we have inside our mind, emotions, the chain, various stacks of impressions and experiences, unfortunately could be shared just in a ridiculously inefficient way. Therefore, the loneliness touches us all, and people whose headspace is full of chaos are the most vulnerable piece in the mosaic. From the moment we are born, we have the only one data filling aggregator, which consumes all incoming information, recompiles it, giving us the result. The final understanding of the incoming notions. There may be people who are type of synchronized with us, who can understand things on the close similar level as do we, but never, ever perfectly the same. Yet there is a person who lives in a totally different system of senses, a person whose mind cage has an extremely low synchronization rate with others. This person would be imprisoned in a terrifying environment to explore, without a chance to truly communicate, interact, or even just live. World Health Organization statistics of 2013 demonstrates a sad situation. Almost 1 billion people all around the globe suffer from mental health issues that need medical engagement. The real number may be much higher, because a lot of us don't want to talk about these issues. And a lot of people may not need the medicines, still they need help and support. However, I'm pretty sure that most of them face same ignorance of the society as actor Fleck did. The Joker's scariest tragic humor refers to us, embodied in the whole movie. Setup and punchline, nobody laughing at. Not a comedy, but a tragedy. That's at least what I've seen after watching and spending time with this story, after digesting it and extracting some value of it. I hope you will find something, or found already, something for yourself. That's it from me for today. Love stories, and see you next time.